Live.
Okay, hello again. We are back for episode 5. The Empire Strikes Back. No, that's not true. The Greenhouse Strikes Back. No, we got the Greenhouse Peak. Here to give you an update. We are actually doing most of the plumbing. If you take a look over here, we've got the floats that we talked about, the raft bed. And I'll let Jan go over there. What we're doing right now is we're testing to see if it works. Ideally, the water fills up in this raft and it comes to here and it drains into there, which it is doing. Now we are filling this up, but eventually as you look down the corner you can see where it's going to drain. So as this fills up, water to go into the pipe and like magic come back out right here. Then when this is full, water will drain into there and then end up back in this bed over here. Now we've already tried each part individually. We poured water into the pipe there and it came out here. We poured water into the pipe and it came out here. So theoretically everything works. Well, not theoretically, everything does work individually. As a system, we are 98.7% sure that it will work. But it's that 2.3% that will bite you in the butt every time. So that is why we're checking to see as a whole. And at the end of this test period, what should happen is water should drain out through there. I do in fact have the hole dug almost big enough. Barrel is there to keep the rain out. You'll see me hot and sweaty. I didn't do it today, but I did it yesterday. So I've got a 55-gallon hole right there, and we're going to trick a little bit. Water will go in there, and then as I said before, it will be pumped back into it, and the system starts again. Jan, who's behind the camera, also started part of our project today. Tomorrow, I'm going to get 2x4s and start framing. And the frame, we decided, is now going to go tie right into the shed. See the green pipe there? I had that up there last year to prevent people like, me, from walking into it. But with the frame up, we've eliminated some of that, but we still want to give some support. So we're going to modify this a little bit, and that'll be a support for the pipe there, and extensions we're going to add so that it'll be support there, and here as well. But basically we're going to get the frame built, and then we're going to run the pipe into here. You show over there, we're going to probably reconstitute that piece of garbage over there by the lawnmower. We're going to turn that into another raft bed, 4x8.
Do you want to elaborate a little bit more about the materials, recycling, and whatever we've used?
Okay. If you take a look around, a lot of this stuff is now into its third iteration of a greenhouse. Jan, who is behind the camera, Jan, why don't you flip that thing around and show your mug? Here, that's okay. He doesn't want to? Oh, okay. Well, you know what? We'll do it when he doesn't have his ugly face on. He has to get the makeup up and stuff. But anyway, Jan used some of this stuff in his greenhouse at the home he had here in Harrisonville. It was a little bit smaller operation just because of the space he had to work with. But he managed to make it pretty cool. And in fact, it's that initial thing that he started that really got me hooked on this to a certain extent. But back to the point is that some of the stuff he used there, we used last year. You saw me tear everything back down. Well, we're using some of it again this year. So some of the stuff has been bought and paid for 3 iterations ago. We were just talking before we went on here. This year, I'm not going to have a whole bunch of major expenses. We were able to get the big bed over there, this bed here, from another gentleman who's discontinued doing his. We're using 2 beds that we had last year, and we're going to modify one that we used last year as well.
I think the point that we want to make is you can use materials at your leisure, materials that you've got available.
Correct. And if you want to pan around, you can show some of the stuff that this is not something I went to Sutherland's and bought that lumber. And if you look along this fence row, you see pallets and a little bit of this and a little bit of that. And you don't need to go down and buy bright, shiny new stuff to make your greenhouse. Now you can. And again, nothing we discussed about. He just got through helping a friend of his and Adrian for Archie or one of them foreign places down south. And he spent several $1,000s. And it was really, really nice. But we're going to have a really nice looking, clean, neat, very efficient, very effective running operation at a fraction of that cost. Again, we're recycling almost everything from last year. I've spent maybe I don't know, $150 maybe this year so far. The bigger expenses is coming up, but probably all I'm going to really invest in this, as far as just materials for the greenhouse itself this year, is probably going to be $500 or $600. You can invest more. You can invest less. Well, because we got all this stuff, everything time we need a piece of wood, we just go over there and pull something out. Jana's turned me into a pack rat. I don't throw anything away anymore, and we end up using it. So if you're wondering how much it's going to cost, the answer is as much as you want it to. You can build it from scratch using brand new stuff and be real pretty and shiny and spend a little bit more money. You can use all refabricated stuff that you just found somewhere and do in a vacuum pickup or brought home, or you can use a combination, which is kind of what we did. At the end of the day, it's not necessarily where you got the materials or how much you paid for the materials, as much as if you've got the right thing and it's installed properly, and then you do the follow-up maintenance on it to make sure that it works properly. Some of the stuff that Jan used in his greenhouse will still be good for several more years if we do the right stuff with it. We take care of it and maintain it the right way. So that's a question everybody asks. How much does it cost? As much as you want to spend.
It can be a couple $100 for a small system, up to hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Correct.
For commercial systems.
We could build one. Literally, we could build one in this house, in this yard, and probably just Jan and I could probably make the thing work. But you're talking about a whole lot of money initially. Now, once you have it done, your cost goes way down. The only thing I spent after we had it constructed last year was I bought fish food. Went to the family center and bought a bag of, it's no joke, Perino fish chow. And I found out the fish don't like it so much, but the dogs really like it. They eat it over the winter. But
I think that what people need to remember, and of an area like this, you can supply a family of 5 to 6 people with all the greens and the protein what they need for a year round.
Yeah.
If it's done properly. Now, what is lacking at the system at this point in time is the greenhouse, but that is coming up.
Yeah.
The aquaponics part of it is busy getting back online again. We had it back online last year. Okay. And then look at what some people are spending at groceries.
Right.
A friend of mine explained to me the other day, a big old truck coming by. Right, the truck. A friend of mine explained to me a week ago, or told me that they spend approximately $50 to $100 a year going to organic places just to buy their greens and whatever. Now, he takes that and builds himself a little greenhouse or aquaponic system, then all that cost will be recovered within 1 year.
Right.
By producing everything himself.
Right. And that again comes to, what is your goal for doing this? My goal initially was I desperately needed a hobby. I was new into my sobriety, and I wanted a hobby, and I wanted something that kept my mind intellectually challenged. This idea inspires me, a closed ecosystem, and not only that, when Jan talks about feeding a family of 5 or whatever, the reality is that in this little area, 24 by 14, if I did it right and planted it right and really wanted to, and kept it going year round, between the fish and what we can plant in here, all the raised beds on the other side, I can raise enough fruit and vegetables to feed a lot more than a family of 5. I can.
Correct.
There's a family of 2 that live here, and I don't like half the stuff I'm going to plant. I don't care for tomatoes.
You don't need to learn to eat them.
Most of the stuff I'm planting. I just like doing this. It's a cool concept, and it reminds me that there is definitely a intelligent design behind all this. There's definitely a God that does this, because I sure didn't make any of it grow. But my point is that I can grow enough in here to take to a food pantry. I can do enough to supply a grocery store or a restaurant or several restaurants. It's just a matter of planning and what your goal is. My goal initially wasn't that. It's kind of leading that way. Jan and I have talked about maybe turning this into a business. There's enough people that want to do gardening in a healthy, organic, clean environment that we can go ahead and this does that. So we're thinking, we're looking. My goal was just I wanted to see how this thing works. Okay, any other questions before we close? Apparently this thing's going real long. I don't know if the grower actually said anything. Okay, so that's it. Water's running, and probably the day after tomorrow we'll be done, and then we'll talk some more. Okay, guys, have fun. We'll see you later.